Are you considering bicycle touring in Portugal? This is what we did in May 2022 while experimenting with a new way of traveling in ultralight, meaning with a foldable bike and minimalist luggage. Interested? We invite you to listen to our story. Why Portugal? We wanted to follow a route designed for cyclotouring, and in Europe, the Eurovelos are really great. There are 19 courses to choose from, varying from 1,000 to 11,000 kilometers. We wanted a region warm enough to camp in May and choose the Eurovelo one in Portugal, which follows the coast for more than 1,000 kilometers. So let's go! The magic of the ultralight is immediately felt when we leave Quebec. We take any taxi to get to the airport, and yes, our 2 bikes and all the luggage are in these suitcases. We simply take a flight with the red suitcase checked in as regular baggage and a small suitcase as carry-on. Cool! Arrived in Lisbon, we go to the hotel. In Europe, it is often a problem to store our bikes safely for the night, but here, we take them to the room. We then empty the suitcases that we will leave for a month at the hotel luggage room. Ready to go? We're both excited to see how easily everything can be transported, but also nervous whether the foldable bike will live up to our expectations. So, we are in Lisbon and we will cycle the Portuguese coast. First question, will we cycle from north to south or vice versa? We decided to start in the south in Faro because the temperature there is currently comfortable, while it might be a little too hot if we end the trip there at the end of May. So we take the train from Lisbon to Faro. Lucy, it's a start! First pedal strokes to head towards Lisbon station. Lucy does not yet suspect that when entering the station, the controller will block us because our train does not accept bicycles. Un moment, por favor, I said to him while folding the bike. It was then that he surrendered, and with his agreement, we get on board with, finally, luggage that fits admirably well in our car. Once in Faro, this is where the cycling adventure really begins. How will a typical day look like? We like to get up very early, eat a banana, decamp, and leave. Why so early? Because people are still sleeping, and we have the roads all to ourselves. Also, the morning light is magical, and we ride on empty roads, but gradually also with an empty stomach. This is where the appeal of Portuguese pastries starts. Around 9-10 a.m., we look for a coffee, and without problem, we will find it every day, either in a charming village or on the seaside. The tradition of the latte and the orange juice takes hold, but also a new concept: a dessert every morning with a pastel de nata tartlet. Yummy! Once well satisfied, we resume on the Eurovelo one, which makes us discover all kinds of paths that we would never have found without the contribution of local cyclists. The weather is warming up, hunger is returning, so we will do some shopping in the next village, and a picnic is a must. Usually, we stop riding in the early afternoon, so now is the time to think about camping. We do not like to book in advance in order to be free to stop where we want each day, depending on the temperature, our fatigue, or the potential for visits. In general, it is easy to find a campsite in Portugal, and believe me, some are just like resorts. The rest of the day is either lazing by the pool or in a quiet cove by the sea, or hiking in parks, or exploring the magnificent coast by boat, visiting museums, or even castles. It is not the opportunities that are lacking in Portugal. And finally, a good meal to end the day in a beautiful place. What better way to store the calories for the next day? Which brings us to talk about food. For years, we carried around on the bike stove, fuel, bowls, plates, and utensils, and food supply for 2 or 3 days. But not anymore. We only have 2 bowls, 2 retractable cups, utensils, and the essential Swiss Army knife. Why? On the one hand, it better suits the ultralight concept. On the other hand, traveling is also about tasting local food, rather than cooking camping meals which are more or less the same from one trip to another. We visit the grocery store every day for cereals and picnics, but restaurants and cafes are part of our menu, especially since almost all the visited campsites have a restaurant. The Eurovelo one offers us all kinds of road pavement. The majority, about 600 kilometers, is on asphalt and of varying degrees of quality. A remarkable effort was made to provide Portugal with wonderful cycle paths, particularly between Porto and Lisbon, for just under 200 kilometers. Oh, and I forgot. Do you think that we can consider its boardwalks as bike paths? And the balance for just over 200 kilometers is a mix of all kinds of services, requiring, in our opinion, the use of a bike suitable for gravel with at least a 32mm tire. So we start to up on the cobblestones in town, in a good selections of gravel in all regions, and sometimes a little sand forcing us to walk just like on a staircase. Needless to say, we were relieved and happy with our choice of folding bikes, which did brilliantly on all roads, provided we took care of it, of course. The elevation. The coast of Portugal is rough, so expect to climb from time to time. The relief will make us breath heavy regularly, on average 470 meters of elevation gain per day. Our bike with only one chainring is surprising. We will only walk on asphalt slopes of more than 16% or gravel slopes of more than 12%. Or sometimes even when going down. Another difficulty, the headwind. After 500 kilometers, here we are in Lisbon, half of the trip to Porto. But recently, the headwind has dominated. A change of direction is needed. Therefore, we get on the next train to Porto with our super foldable and light luggage, and we will come back to Lisbon downwind. There you go. The city. Lisbon and Porto are definitely cities where it is worth stopping for a few days. They are, of course, tourist attractions not to be missed, such as the castles, or the incredible collections of ceramics in museums. There's also architecture and surprising churches. But we love strolling the streets and being surprised by street art at all hours of the day. Let's toast to these great tours as we leave Porto. The GPS. Leaving Porto towards Lisbon was great. Beautiful cycle paths on the seaside, easy to find. But it's not always so easy to follow the Eurovelo one because the signage is random, in fact mostly absent, and the intersections are countless. We strongly recommend that you first download the routes in JPX format from the Eurovelo One site and use them on an electronic device. In our case, our choice fell on a Garmin dedicated to cycling. But beware, some of the proposed segments are risky. Every evening, we validated the next day's route for potential pitfalls, and we prepared alternative paths just in case. Staying alive! In our opinion, Portuguese drivers will not win a medal for civic-mindedness towards cyclists. On a few occasions, they drove way too close to us, so on the roads without a shoulder, we impose ourselves in the middle of our roadway to force them to slow down. Anyway, we wouldn't dare ride without our flashing lights, front and rear, visible up to 2 kilometers away. We choose the Bontrager Ion 200 RT for their microscopic size, and we recharge them only every 2 days. Mission accomplished! Triumphant return to Lisbon after 1,000 kilometers of cycling, 8,000 meters of elevation gain completed in 17 days of cycling. We were enchanted by the landscape, the people, the food, the visits, and especially our ultralight equipment, which was beyond our expectations. Moreover, to learn more about this equipment, we invite you to watch The Magic of Ultralight Cyclotouring on Freewheels.ca. With that, good thinking for your future trips. Adios!